Hailing frequencies are open. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Clear Skies, our Star Trek Adventures live play here on QueueTimes. I'm here with the Streampunks. How y'all doing today? How's Streampunks? Before we went live today, we've been having a lot of conversations about mental health and anxiety and stuff like that. And one of the reasons why we're actually starting a few minutes late is because we ended up starting to kind of fall into a check-in with each other. It seems like this has been a rough week. Quarantine has been going on for 300 years now. And as a result of that, it's always good to check in, especially because I get to see y'all once a week. Well, some of y'all only once a week. I only get to see y'all to do this game, and it's good to check in. And like, I'm not the only one that's been getting my ass kicked by me lately. I have a black belt in Eric Fu. There's no question about that. And I beat the crap out of myself all the time.
And it's rude. You shouldn't do that, Eric.
I know.
It's my job.
It's true. It's true.
But let's just all take a moment to appreciate Sam's glorious hair. Because I think everyone in chat is already. And
yes, it's true. And on the backdrop of that space, it just looks like a big pink sun, and it's amazing.
I know. I feel like Sam is our own little nebula. Like.
So
there's the giggle.
It's not fair to do this 2 weeks in a row. You know that, right?
Gina will get it out of you.
I did none of that. That was all Bonnie. I just always listen for it when the compliments start coming in. There's the face hide, then you get a small giggle, and then there's the anger eyebrows that are also accompanied with a scrunchy nose.
Told you Gina would do it. This is a full Gina assault.
I didn't get to be here for the birthday embarrassment, so this is my time.
It's true. It's Gina's time.
It's just the title. The library is open for Gina.
Yeah. Fix my background here. So that is a perfect note to go in on the fact that it's so important to support each other and to support your fellow players at the table, to support your friends, but to also be aware that you need support. That's super part of that equation. So I just wanted to point at it tonight because I really appreciate as a gaming group that we do this, and I wanted everybody to know that we do this, and I hope that you will all take some time to do it as well. Self-care is super important, and this is not easy right now. So that being said, let's go ahead and ask around the table, do we have any announcements tonight? Anybody have any announcements? Yes, Aki.
Just shows how well I pay attention to the own shit that I do. I have a Roll20 Con game coming up this Friday. I believe it starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And we will be playing some Pathfinder. And it's going to be really cool because I believe my fellow group, Gabe and Dave, are going to be co-GMing, which will be really cool to watch. Yeah, it's going to be rad. And right before that, Gabe is going to be building our dungeon in his show Table Talk. So it's going to be like a whole thing. So come check me out over on Roll20 Twitch for Roll20 Con on Friday. It should be a lot of fun, and I get to go back to Pathfinder, and I'm very happy. I miss Pathfinder so much.
I miss Jason.
I miss Jason too.
He's a good guy.
And I miss my omelet.
Jason is almost as tall as B Dave, I would say. Jason's about as tall.
Jason's very tall.
He's a big dude. Jason's big man.
And the sweetest guy. But yes, I'm just reaching over to my omelet right now. But yeah, so yes, Roll20 Con, and then obviously we had our finale of Tales from the Loop. It came from the Loop last Wednesday, but we're doing a Q&A talkback this Wednesday at what time? 6 o'clock p.m.
On Rule of Lore?
Yes, over on Rule of Lore. And so it's a chance to come and ask us questions. We'll ask each other questions. And then, of course, I'm playing a werewolf on Saturdays, every Saturday night at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have 2 more episodes left with our finale happening on Halloween. And it is so much fun being a werewolf. Holy shit, it's fun.
Yep. Yeah, I miss my Fianna tribe. I miss my Fiannas. What's up, Bonnie Gordon? You look like you want to say something.
Saturdays on the Dragons and Things Twitch channel is another finder, a star finder, things in space. It's a lot of fun. And then Wednesdays right here on QueueTimes. We just had our first episode of Denver by Night this past Wednesday. And so our second episode will be this Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30. If you think my accent on this show is crazy, wait till you hear me talk like I'm from the old Wild Wild West and, drink blood on occasion.
In the game,
I also
right?
wear fangs.
Gotcha.
It's great.
All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to announce? All right. Then the last thing I would just want to pitch in is you may have heard some buzz going around our social media platforms, but yes, the Stream Punks are going to be doing a spy game one shot that is going to be divided into two. We'll have more updates on that as it's coming in. We're just coordinating, getting everybody together and finding the right day to do it. We did shoot the B-Day Vampire the Masquerade one shot, where we all played a Chantry of Tremere, and it was a ton of fun. And Jake, if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be happening. That's going to be going up this Friday. Is that correct? Jake's.
That is correct. It will be going up at 6 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah. So if you want to watch us play some blood drinkers, or as a guru by heart would say, some leeches. If you want to watch us play a bunch of leeches, and corrupted aspects of the worm, please tune in to Friday, and it's gonna be good. I think that's it for us for now, so we can go ahead and jump into now. Yes, Sam. Yes, may I help you?
Yes, if I may have the floor to say, catch Gina on Power Play this weekend. I'm really excited. She's going to be guesting, and I didn't even know, and then I knew, and I'm very excited. But you can catch her right now, because we're going to go with space. Excited for that, too.
I think with that, we're going to jump into tonight's episode of Clear Skies. And welcome back to the game after Sam's birthday. We're going to be jumping into our episode now. When we last left off, the crew of the USS Ross was currently undergoing a refit. The USS Ross was receiving a major upgrade to her sensor suite. After petitioning Starfleet, Admiral A'Bear got clearance to upgrade the USS Ross sensor suite to high-resolution starship sensors, which is typically found on science vessels, particularly deep space exploration science vessels. Most notably, it is almost always a standard part of the chassis of a Intrepid-class starship that would be doing deep space assignments. The USS Ross, having been doing more and more functioning, doing more and more assignments here in the Shackleton Expanse, is being upgraded so that it can better detail and chart the subspace anomalies that appear and disappear out here in the Shackleton Expanse, making this a very tricky place to do some space exploration. The anomalies, these eddies, these subspace eddies as they are, if y'all remember, to give a quick reminder to Ox crew and to the crew of the Ross here, the eddies will appear and disappear. It is a trait of the Shackleton Expanse. You cannot get rid of it. The unfortunate side effect of running into these eddies is they tend to burn out your shields. essentially the shield emitters on your ship can be permanently damaged and are irreplaceable unless taken back to a star base, which means it can permanently drop the rating of your shields down until they're whittled to nothing. In the meantime, it's like running over speed bumps at high speed. It's not fun. So every now and then the Ross has encountered the Wheeler's like, excuse me? That's amazing.
We cannot forget that these eddies, they show up and they could be cloaked ships. That's how cloaked ships appear on our sensors. So any one of them could surprise be a ship.
So with the upgrades coming to the USS Ross, y'all will be able to anticipate running into these eddies, and it shouldn't be as much of a problem. You can still anticipate a bumpy ride through Shackleton. This is the frontier. This is the dangerous edges of space that has hardly been explored by any major government. So you are running into the wilderness of space, essentially. And it comes with a lot of bumps. But the Ross is a big girl. She's a powerful girl. And now she's got a hell of a telescope on her. Those high-resolution sensors are going to really help you spot these eddies and be able to identify them before you run into them. Not always, but it's going to raise your chances significantly. However, in order to upgrade the Ross, that's required a huge engineering team to crawl up into the saucer section, into the main course of the phaser array, and uncouple a bunch of the plasma power conduits so they can be recoupled into the new sensor suite that's being installed while the old one is being removed. This is a big undertaking. To not be done in a shipyard means that a lot of the engineering crew has to crawl into the guts of the ship, which a lot of them are loving. It's hard work, but you're on your stomach, you're crawling into spaces, you are doing all the hard work. You are a classic mechanic right now, squeezing into small places to work with incredible technologies and upgrade the ship. You're basically taking part in the next iteration of the USS Ross. And there's not a single person that isn't on this engineering team that's not just thrilled to be working and doing this kind of work, particularly your ensign, Chief Tech. Dari is over the moon, and as it turns out, Dr. Maroney has not turned out to be quite the pain in the ass that you thought he was going to be. Sure, he likes to throw his weight around a little bit, but he has been, for the most part, doing the job that he said he was going to do for you, Chief. He has been implementing and following orders. You do notice that a lot of people are going to him for questions. Half the time, he answers them if they're simple, straightforward questions about the ship. But if it's anything to do with the task, he immediately refers them to your liaison, Dari, and says, go talk to Dari. And if Dari wants to send you to Tech, she will. And that's how the chain of command has been going. It has caused things to slow down a little bit. But one of the things that you've noticed is that you have started becoming vaguely aware as the command structure of this refit is being set up. It's starting to really click with you how much Dr. Maroney has kind of underplayed how much he knows this ship. He knows every bolt, every plate, every insignia. He knows every power conduit. He knows the designation of just about any time he's going through the Jeffries tubes. He knows exactly which designation and serial number is on the hoverboards that y'all use to fly down the Jeffrey tubes for quickness. He is astonishingly well-versed, but occasionally he has come across some modifications that y'all have made along the way that he asks about and wants a full report on when everything's calmed down.
Oh, dang.
Not as a punitive thing, but like, really? Tell me how you fixed that. I want to know. So it would seem that the Ross is going through getting a makeover, as it were. She's getting new contact lenses, and it's going to work out great. She's getting LASIKs. And as it were, things on Narendra Station have been relatively quiet, except for under the surface, that's not so true. There is a rising tension right now in the embassies here at Narendra Station. There's also the potential for a plot to uncover corruption at the highest level of the Klingon command here at Narendra Station. There is an award that our own Dr. Mackrell was nominated for. And have you... Now, Bonnie, I want you to clarify it for me before we jump right into the narrative here. But you told me you were going to do a certain thing regarding that award. Have you done that thing? Has that happened?
I was undecided on whether
Or do you want to play that out?
Maybe. I'm undecided about it. We'll talk.
We have a counselor back on our ship, so if you want to play out whether or not you want to do this, just keep in mind that Counselor Exio can and will keep things patient. There is a doctor-patient privilege here. So
yes, there is.
But behind the conflict and the refit and the plot and everything and the things that are going on with the embassy and the award, there's also a startling, painful discovery that was made rather randomly coming in where we last left off. Chief Tech Lenatus has unexpectedly has received a message from Starfleet Command letting him know the remains of his brother Reiku were found on the battlefields as part of the reclamation project that is taking place, the post-Dominion War reclamation project. His remains were found in what was a downed shuttlecraft. This was very unexpected, and it was happening just as Tech was getting into his groove, setting up all the team, coordinating all the teams for the USS Ross for the refit. And it led to a dramatic moment in which Tech confronted Mackrell, who was with Reiku in his final moments, and asked to know a little more detail about what happened, because there were things in this report that he had known about. He didn't know about the shuttle and the escape on the shuttle. Mackrell assured Tech Lenatus that Reiku was trying to get medical supplies out and that he had took the shuttle and the shuttle was destroyed in flight. And right before we left off last game, Tech made a contested roll with Mackrell, and beat Mackrell by tying her. And it was revealed Mackrell was lying. She was not telling the truth. And every bone in her body, every bone in Tech's body, said that she is holding something back. She's not telling you everything. We are going to pick this game up right where we left off, in that moment, with Mackrell standing in front of you, having delivered this information, and you gazing at her, Chief. She's composed herself calmly, but Mackrell's good at that. Mackrell's good at being in intense situations where life and death is on the line, and she holds her cool all the time. But the problem here is, unlike her patients, and unlike the people that she works with on the Ross, you've known Mackrell for a long time, and you're starting to realize as she says this to you, you've picked up on a tell or two. She's talking to you the way she's talking to a patient. She doesn't want to know it's serious. You can see the signs. You don't know what it is that she's hiding, but she's not telling you everything.
They're asking me what they should do with the remains. Are you certain that Reiku hasn't done anything that would be unbecoming of a Starfleet officer? Before I proceed, my family would not be able to take any embarrassment, and so I would rather know now than have it publicly released.
Chief Tech, in regards to your brother and his reputation, you will have nothing to worry about.
And why am I worried, Doctor? There are so many questions. I never found out what happened at the end.
The war was a very difficult time for all of us, and we all had very conflicted feelings, your brother included.
What did he do?
He was killed in battle.
Who was he fighting?
He just got stuck in the crosshairs. It happened all the time.
He promised me that he would stay safe. He was supposed to be out of the fire. He was helping people. Why would someone shoot at him? It doesn't make any sense.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And flying the shuttle where he shouldn't.
But why? He loved Starfleet. He loved the rules and the regulations. He loved order and following, obeying. He wouldn't go off course? That's not the brother that I knew. There had to be a reason.
When we discovered that settlement, we were not expecting to find those sick children and women, and we had to change the plan.
To
We
what?
needed more help. He left to get it.
He was getting backup?
Yes. There was too many sick for both me and him to just handle alone.
But if you were the lead on the mission, why didn't you take the shuttle?
Because I was the more skilled doctor. And some of the children were dying.
The letter I received said that they found the remains of Reku. He was on the planet Caritas 4. Should I have them recover them and shipped to my family?
You and your family deserve peace and closure.
We already
Your
had...
brother loved you very much. And I'm glad that they did find his remains.
Doctor, I don't know what the point is then of reopening this wound for everyone. Nothing has changed. Nothing was revealed. They're just remains that were found. We've already said goodbye. I should not tell my family. I should just take care of this.
That is up to you. He is your brother. If you feel like your family has already had the closure and have said their goodbyes, then there's nothing more to say.
Well, Doctor, they didn't get the same chance that I did to talk to you. They might ask questions that I wouldn't know. I think I just need some time. I need to get back to work on the refit. If there's anything that you remember or feel like I should know, my comm is available.
Thank you, Chief.
And I'll walk out.
And again, I am very sorry for your loss.
Sometimes I wish I could just keep things in the past.
The past always has a
I'm
way.
gone. I'm gone.
Oh.
I left.
And then as he leaves, I'm just going to say, of haunting us. As he leaves.
As you move back over to your team, Chief Tech, and take up a data pad, just trying to force yourself to be busy. Kind of that instinct to just grab something and put it in front of your face, and maybe that's how you can start getting your mind focused again. You cannot shake the feeling. Even though that was a pacifying conversation, it still holds because of the role. Mm-hmm. She is holding something back. She is not telling you the truth.
I'm going to go to my quarters and go to my computer station and start to do some research on my own and see if I can find anything.
You set down the data pad and pivot and start beelining out of the engine room. And Insundari watches you walk by and goes, Chief? But says it kind of meekly as to not stop you, but expresses concern as she watches you leave. She glances back at the rest of the engineering team, who doesn't seem to have noticed that you've left yet. And when the turbolift doors close, she straightens her uniform and moves over to where you were standing and starts barking out basically the last thing she heard you say. Okay, so the chief said we're going to need to get started here first. So why don't we send 2 teams over to Section C of the saucer section, and I want to get at least one team on deck 4 to observe what's going on in the deck below them. And that's what you hear as the door closes, and moments later, you exit the turbo lift. Now, the Ross is a ghost town right now. As I described before, most of the crew has disembarked onto Narendra Station. And because y'all are at stations keeping and the engines have officially been taken off, all main power systems are down except for necessary power. So there's none of that comforting hum that is always present, that low rumble that is the Ross is awake and alive. She's sleeping right now. So stepping out of the turbo lift is that eerie quiet as you move down this long hallway of this flying city among the stars until you reach your quarters. The doors slide open, and stepping in, as they close, somehow it just feels like you're even more alone now, like you have your privacy stepping into your quarters.
To enhance that too, as I step over to my desk, I open up my display and I activate text encryption.
Okay.
And so this is sort of a wall around what I'm looking at.
Okay.
And
Takes a
then-
few moments. As the hologram appears in front of you, and you just enter in a couple of digits into your tech encryption, and you see the hologram goes from the standard sort of light blue to a dark blue, indicating that this projection in front of you is now encrypted and secure.
Dark mode.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you went incognito on Google.
And then I'm going to see if I can find any sort of classified information about Caritas 4 in regards to the Dominion War and the station Reiki Lenatus to sort of specify the parameters.
It's always the library bards. Have you noticed that?
What? I don't know what you're talking
In
about.
Shield of Tomorrow, it was Lark.
Well.
In Clear Skies, it's Tech.
An engineer's got an engineer.
All right. So you're going to try to get into classified Federation documents on Caritas 4.
If there are any.
Okay. We'll set this as, this is going to be a control. Oh, let me double check.
I have the specific parameters of I have the star date and everything like that.
So why don't we do this? I'm going to make this a control. Well, honestly, this would be a control security check.
Okay. Also, I'll give you this as a character point. Tech has never done this before about his brother. He always wanted that sort of veil.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
So this was a breaking point.
This is the first time that Tech's ever gone digging.
Mm-hmm.
So the difficulty to find anything is 2.
Okay.
So go ahead. It's a control security check. I'm sorry?
Weird question. Does the Ross assist with this?
Yes, the Ross does assist with this.
Yeah.
The Ross is this is going to be a computer security check. No, I'm sorry, computer's command check for the Ross.
Cool. Let's hopefully get some momentum.
I mean, it feels like crimes. So the Ross is the kind of mischief I think the Ross is about as a ship.
Successes, but they are at the number.
Oh, nice. So 3 total. So gain a momentum.
Yay.
So, of course, because you have the stardate now and you have the planet, you had always known a long time ago you'd been told what planet it was on, but you had kind of just tossed that away. Yeah. Hearing it again is bringing back the memories of when your family was notified of the loss of your brother. You were on duty, if I remember correctly. Were you serving already? Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, as an enlisted officer.
Right. Okay. You do see that basic information come up. Essentially, it's a casualties list that comes up. And according to this, it's being updated daily because that is the grim work that is being done after the Dominion War, even 6 years after the Dominion War. However, it is slowed significantly. Your brother's name was added to the list about 4 weeks ago, and he was identified. And you were contacted as soon as possible from what you can gather on the dates. Now, you can open up to find out the nature of his death. That's easy enough to do, but you immediately run into a restricted firewall. It's not classified, but this is restricted information.
Ooh, let's do it. Let's get in.
Okay.
This is like autopsy style information?
Yeah. So you're trying to breach an encrypted Federation database.
Mm-hmm. Is it encrypted from family? Could I use
No, it's just restricted information that the Federation has. It's not classified. You don't need necessarily like a high security clearance to have access to this information. Exio could look this up for you, no problem. Captain can look to you. But if you're going to gain access to this yourself, you're basically going to have to go around their login protocols. So you can do that.
A step to go further in, or is this sort of where, like...
No, think of it like breaking into medical files.
Uh-huh.
It's restricted. It's not classified. It's not easy to get into it either. But once you open that up, it's going to tell you everything.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
It'll tell you everything. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to
also check your messages, Eric. FYI.
Okay. Okay. One of the unique things about live streaming and doing this remote is we have this really great messaging system.
Interesting question while this is happening, while he's breaking in. Technically, whose database does this? Is this pinging? Is this Mackrell's medical file database? Is this like a shared database between all medical staff personnel, such as Exio, and like just so we know who's, or is this just general ship medical info? Like, I just want to know what section of the ship's sort of memory base this is being broken into.
This is actually connecting with Starbase. This is connecting with Starfleet Command's database, so the Starbase would have an updated version of this.
Oh, so he's breaking into Narendra's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Exactly. That's why I was like, where is this? Is this in the ship? Is this on the station? Is this... Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is just... You're neat. Ooh.
So here's what's going to happen now.
Here's what's going to happen.
Here's what's going to happen now. I'm going to spend 4 threat and raise the complication range all the way up by 5. So if you roll a 16 or better, you're going to get a complication.
Okay.
The difficulty of this is 4.
Okay. All right. So 1, I'm going to burn a determination.
Okay.
I want to use the value technology makes life better.
Okay.
Would that apply?
I would say borderline.
Okay.
I'm just because that's really up to your interpretation. Is this about to make Chief Tech's life better?
Well, if everything goes according to plan.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So that's 2 auto successes.
Okay, boom. And then I'd like to spend one of the momentum for cautious.
Okay.
And gain an extra die.
Gain an extra die.
And use the ship as well.
And is this computer's command again?
Yep.
Okay. So I do have 2 successes.
That hits the target number.
And I also have a complication.
Excellent.
and one
you get... Okay, so you're going to get 1 momentum.
Huh?
Because you had a total of 5 successes.
Huh?
So 1 momentum goes back into the pool. All right.
Oh, no.
So... Again, I just want to state that we have gone into the era of Star Trek where 3D holographic displays are starting to become common sights on starships. You're starting to see that early Picard level era technology being re-implemented on board starships. So you are moving around an interactive computer protocol system right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So Tech, as you kind of maneuver this a little bit, sliding it around, you get to the firewall essentially. And there's this moment of anxiety of like, you about to do this? Because this could cost you if you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
This could cost you big time.
I have to.
You start entering your codes, and you start applying the skills that you've learned when it comes to getting around ship systems that you need to gain access to. Because sometimes repairs need to happen, and you don't necessarily have full access. Even though as chief engineer, you do, technically, but it's always good to be prepared. You fiddle with the code and immediately gain access. You see it go switch to a purple color in front of you, accessing these restricted files as an anonymous viewer. And it immediately opens up Reiku's file. You see your brother's face. He is in his uniform with that proud look on his face. Everything that you described to Mackrell, 100%. You're looking at a Bolian who loved being Starfleet. Everything about him loved being Starfleet. He signed up not knowing, like so many others who put on the patch, not knowing that the dreams of space exploration were going to be taken from him, and instead they were going to be thrown into war. This was an image that was taken shortly after he graduated Starfleet Academy, when he was setting off for what he thought was going to be a tour of the galaxy where he was going to help heal people. And that's when you see your eyes kind of filter down and see underneath, killed in action. Gives the star date, gives the planet, and you see reports of the action that took place, and you see Dr. Mackrell's name as the primary eyewitness report. You click it, and it opens up. It's not... Basically, what you get from this, I'm going to have you roll an insight command check.
Heck.
And the difficulty is going to be 3.
Insight
This
command?
is researching restricted information
Okay.
is
You have
difficulty
1
3.
momentum.
Okay. Okay. Would I be able to use cautious engineering to buy an...
Not on a command
No.
check, but you just
Yeah.
buy a normal die, and you don't have the reroll ability.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll do that to buy one, because I need 3 successes, right?
yeah.
And the Ross is helping? Or no, this is just on me, so I need to nail
This is just on you.
Oy. Oh, no. Well, I did get a crit, so 2 successes, but the other 2 are failures.
Okay.
The complication range isn't higher now,
No.
right?
Complication
Okay.
range is normal.
Yeah, just 2 successes.
So the way I'm going to interpret this is, as you're reading it, something is occurring to you. You start getting this feeling as you're reading Mackrell's account, because the account in the file is exactly the one she told you in engineering just now. Which causes a little bit of this rising emotion in you, like because when you talk to her in engineering, you know she wasn't telling you the truth, and here it is on a file now too. You have no way of proving that, but your gut is telling you. And halfway through what you're reading is you're starting to come to the conclusion, like you're reading the words, and the thing that's starting to occur to you is that word for word, and then you're locked out. You just see it suddenly go red.
I
and
panicked.
it says unauthorized access.
Close it all. Click exit, exit, exit.
You exit. That's your complication. You see your numbers, your serial number as a chief of the starship, register underneath where it says unauthorized access detected.
Cool. Good.
And seconds later, there's a chirping sound in your quarters.
Oh, good. I turn everything off. Commit.
You just like rapidly shutting everything, kind of like looking around, just like close that up, move aside, and it's actually a calm chirp. Yeah, it's coming.
I mean, go for tech. Come into my communications.
Okay. You say, go for tech. Chief Tech. This is Commander Sivik of Narendra Station.
Oh, hi, Commander Sivik. What can I do for you?
You can report to my office immediately before I have security come and escort you off the USS Ross and throw you in the brig.
Oh, sure, that won't be necessary. I'm on my way. Here I go. Okay, goodbye. Tech out. Here I come to your office. Goodbye. Oh, Jesus. And I'll book it.
Okay. You straighten your uniform, get up, and leave your quarters, heading straight down. Your heart racing as you're entering the transporter room. As you step into the transporter room, it's completely empty and dark. And you realize you need to go down 2 more decks before you get to the transporter room. You need to go down to, you're at transporter room 1 right now. You need to be down at transporter room 5, which is on deck 21. You're on deck 12 right now. So you just kind of like, It's a long road getting from there to here.
You know what I'm gonna do? Take the Jeffries tube slide. Because I forgot about that.
Okay. You know, your snappiness is being noted.
Thank you.
Commander Exio, during this whole time that the Ross has been docked at Narendra Station,
Yes.
the auxiliary crew has been taking this as an opportunity to see their counselor. There's been a lot of people who have been booking time with you now that they are like, oh, well, I mean, it's not really shore leave. I'll book some time with Counselor Exio.
There's been a handful of particular triggers on board this ship the last few months. That doesn't surprise me. So, yes, yeah. There's been a lot of, we did spy stuff, you know, and most of our crew knows that, and they believe they're out of war, and that was inevitable.
Yes. Also, Exio, inevitably, you are running into the incredibly always complicated, never binary, never black and white spectrum of biological relationships. People who have come back to Narendra Station and realize, oh, we were dating, but I don't feel the same way anymore. It's been a while. And things like that. You're running into all of the counseling sessions of like human and alien dynamic of people like re-engaging with each other, or, you know, we might, I don't know, do I ask them out because we could be out in deep space again for another 6 months and she's Klingon. Like, I don't know how that would go. Like, you know, things like that. You're running into of these.
That's wonderful. I am also a certified sex therapist, so this is okay.
Yes.
Real quick, I just wanted to say the
somebody who has a database for a brain because there's a lot of species involved. Yes, go ahead, Xander.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to say the phase arrays are the only thing decoupling. That's all. Okay, bye.
So, needless to say, the lack of counseling sessions that you've been able to get in the past couple of months, you're getting it all in now. It's all coming in now. People are going to see their counselor. And you have gotten to know the Aux crew and the dynamics of the Aux crew better than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I gotta tell you, it's lovely. There's a bathhouse for a reason. There is counseling sessions available. There is, yes, how wonderful to focus on someone else for a really long time.
Yeah. What's fascinating too, Exio, is that being somebody who has been experiencing intense emotion these past couple of weeks, you've discovered a new level of empathy that you've had to adjust to a little bit. You always knew to care about somebody, and you always had that impulse to care about somebody. But you've noticed that recently in your counseling sessions, when somebody cries, there's been moments where you thought you might cry too. And it's taken some getting used to of feeling that empathetic emotion. And it has kind of made you wonder how the hell Olin does this around people who are constantly having emotions. You've just seen your last appointment scheduled for the day. It is what would be basically considered late afternoon.
It is an incredible skill being empathetic while not taking in the overspill. It is an incredible skill, and a diplomat, I can only imagine, has been studying that for a very long time, as do therapists. However, it happens. So then if that's the case, I'm going to absolutely regulate myself, because that is an appropriate not an appropriate response for a therapist to have. So I have been scheduling my appointments with a larger break between. I would normally be able to go back to back with only a few minutes to accommodate a sort of emotional reset. So I've been scheduling them out a little bit further so that I have a proper amount of time to regulate and keep myself appropriately separate from my patients. because you can't be helpful to them if you're just sort of a lightning rod for them. So that is what I'm going to be doing, taking quite a lot of time in between, but still monitoring myself. And yeah, I will have a memo sent out to the rest of my counseling team, that with a sort of go-ahead of my patients for the day or week or whatever might be transferred to you at any given moment based on whether or not I feel my emotional state in the appropriate response.
The Ox Crew counseling team responds more than happy to step in and share that responsibility.
Cool.
Even though they are technically on sort of detached leave right now, the truth is they all respond immediately within minutes of you posting that. So all of them, every single one of them volunteering.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Exio, you find
Who's
yourself,
next?
it is quite the same as I described it to Tech. This is the first time you've known the Ross to be completely quiet in such a ghost town. People mostly only come to the counseling sessions. They'll come on board the USS Ross for the counseling session because it feels like familiar territory. But then they disembark and head back to Narendra Station for their crew quarters, or to stay with families or loved ones or people that they're friends with. It has been a very quiet atmosphere. You do know the captain has been spending most of their time on the ship. And you do know that Sorex has not left the ship.
Okay.
And
What has he been taking up any activities? Has he been assigned a position to occupy himself? I know he asked for one.
No, not yet.
And he does not have a security detail on him anymore, I assume.
You tell me, would you and the captain want to keep a security detail on him?
No. I don't feel an overabundant need, not least because if he wants to lose them, he can. So might as well show him the trust.
He also has a badge on him, though, so if you ever need to know where he's at, the computer can tell you immediately.
Okay.
And he will absolutely not circumvent that if he intends to lose us.
Yeah, I think probably part of the arrangement was he doesn't take that off. If he's going to leave his quarters, he takes that with him.
Yes.
Which is more than acceptable as a defector.
Cool. Neat. Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly what you're experiencing, Exio. As you lean back in your chair and look around your quarters, there's this sudden, like, what do I do? There's nothing on your schedule. The ship is completely quiet. You can occasionally hear the communications flowing through the ship because as Exio, you kind of are in tune with the fact that the engineering teams are talking to each other.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is an odd sensation. The Ross is asleep. It is an odd sensation.
What time? Where are we in the shift? Are we?
This would still be considered. This would be considered coming to the end of Alpha shift.
Okay. So I maybe have. Do I have any appointments left for the day, or is it done?
No.
I have none.
None.
Oh. Well, look at me getting ready for nothing. Okay. Well, let's do a little check-in, shall we?
Sure.
I'm saying to myself out loud. Oh boy. Okay.
Do you keep your uniform blue?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still in my office.
Sure.
It's sort of programmed to change while I'm in here. I think I'm just sort of pacing within my office. It's like that when you have done a thing all day and you're like, I did the thing. What do I do with all of the left? Do I have leftover energy or do I not? What is all of this? I absolutely
want to capture this as a scene. I want to capture this as an RP scene of role play of not knowing what the hell to do. Exio is literally pacing.
Yes.
If you can imagine this being a scene in a show, like some quirky music playing as Exio is pacing back and forth, just kind of like, huh, like,
Yeah.
this is a new sensation with the sleeping Ross and nothing really on the schedule of things to do. No one's calling you right now. No one's tripping away. It has been quiet.
I have nothing to do.
You kind of say to the empty space around you.
All right. Screw it. I'm going to blip back to my quarters. And I thought I'd be tired. Personal log. Thank you. I thought I would be tired. It was a done. No more. I don't know why I'm still keeping those. I'm not sending them to anyone anymore. So all right. I want to go to the mirror.
Okay.
And just looking at myself and change into civilian clothes. I don't do that very often. Why am I turned off the personal log. You can stop. You can stop, Exio. Okay. I just talked to myself in the third person. Okay. Let's have a look at you. Okay. Okay. I run my hand through my hair, and I leave a white stripe.
Totally like the craft where you just...
Yeah. Just
a white stripe
through the
goes
bang.
right through your hair. Okay.
Yeah, like I did at the dinner the other day.
Right.
And... I look like I had a breakup. Clearly I'm not letting go of the relationship stuff today. Okay. Okay.
It's remarkable, Exio, because as you are going through the motions of thinking about overthinking, outside the window is an entire galaxy. You are out in the edge of the frontier of space, and you're standing in your quarters doing nothing. And it's starting to gnaw at you a little bit.
So that my inner voice literally says that to me.
Okay.
And then I get self-conscious and I go, yes, but I also feel like an entire galaxy inside. So... screw it. I'm going out. And I'm gonna go find the bar on Narendra Station. I'm gonna take some time off.
You startle the Saurian ensign in Transporter Room 4 as you materialize. I'm sorry, Transporter Room 5 as you materialize. You also startle Chief Tech, who has just stepped up onto the transporter pad and is not looking good. As you blip into the transporter room and you see both of them just, Oh, Commander! The Saurian stands at attention. This ensign just straightens his uniform. They kind of look at you for a second and they just, Commander, yes, hello. I was about to transport the chief, Commander. Using the transporter, I was going to transport the chief, Commander.
Yeah, Were you going to the station?
Yes, would you mind if I accompany you?
Oh, please do. Are you doing anything? I like what you did with your hair. Would you want to come with me?
Sort of does a mental note of, all right, back on duty. And there's a small ounce of relief, probably.
Oh, thank God, counseling.
Yeah, and just says, would be delighted.
Okay,
and I step on with you, and then I just, are we getting a drink? And then,
Sovas, by the way, who is now doing their second duty shift on their own here on the transporter, back to back, which is kind of like sort of a hazing, if you will, to take 2 duty shifts like this. It's their first time operating the transporter without observation. And the ensign, who, Chief, you've known Ensign Sovas for just a little bit of time. They're a Saurian. They are, for the record, non-binary. They're a petty officer, 2nd class. They are an up-and-coming, loving, like, engineer Saurian. They want to do the best job that they can, but they have shown extreme Willow Rosenbergness. They're very just like,
you can
yes,
do it.
I can do that. Yes. Yeah. Let me just see how the buttons work when I press them, kind of like attitude towards everything. And you can see they've always been a bit of a shaky leaf on the branch. However, you actually see a little bit of confidence in Sylvas as the 2 of you step on the transporter pad, and Sylvas, like straight out of Picard, straightens their uniform and says, 2 to beam over. And you are energized as this small split of a smile as the Saurian transports you. Gina, to catch you up.
Yeah.
This is first of all,
what's going on?
This is an Aux crew character.
Yeah.
This was a submission on the champions level. But in the previous episode of Clear Skies, Lacat got a taste of command when nobody was on the bridge. Lacat sat in the center chair and realized in a moment of astonishment that they were going to be a captain one day. And when they decided yes, it was a big moment for Lacat, a really big personal quiet moment where no one was on the bridge. Lacat had the realization and they were like having anxiety about it. And when they went down to the transporter pad, they encountered Savas. And Savas was the nerve-wracked anxiety machine that we all are, and was super nervous because this is their first duty shift without anybody around. And Lacat said, this will be my first command. And made a presence command check and successfully rolled and gave Savas the confidence to do their job well. And it's still here because Savas looks like they know what they're doing, and they transport the hell out of you and Chief back over to Narendra Station. They press the 2 buttons and slide the slider, and you both materialize on the transporter pad on Narendra Station. That's the backstory.
Who doesn't know that, but has probably seen these nerves before and is just makes a small note of, they're getting it. They're getting it. I'm like, yay! There's just a small yay.
Savas is finding their voice.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad I went out today. Just all these thoughts while I'm...
You say that to yourself as you glance over to Chief Tech, who's starting to perspire and just kind of like...
Do you wanna maybe go see Commander Sivik? I think that's what I want to do. That's where I'm headed. So if you wanted to come with me, we could go over there and give Commander Sivik a quick talk and 2 with 4.
I loop your arm because I'm as a sort of general gesture of... I'm in civilian clothes, and also I'll just quickly tuck you in really close to me, and all I'm going to say to you is, I also get very jumpy when I'm incredibly nervous. So we're going to walk together. I will go get a drink, but do you want to catch me up on what's happening while I'm guiding you towards the Commander Sivik, correct? I will guide you, but you need to talk quickly.
Okay. I was sort of doing some research about my brother and what happened during the Dominion War, and I sort of used my computer in an encryption level that I may not have had clearance to, but I was just checking on my own family's information, so I should have had access to it from the beginning. I just didn't want them to know that I was looking it up because back up. I got a communication saying that they found the remains of Reiku and that I don't know what to do with about now, but Mackrell was talking to me about some things because they served together. I don't know if you knew that, but I think she may be lying to me about his past and maybe about how he died or maybe how he served. I don't know how he lived. Okay.
Oh, breathe.
Anyway, I got caught and now Commander Sivik wants to see me.
Quick HIPAA and Federation check, please. Because I know Exio would know this. Gina doesn't know the incredible... How bad was what he just said to me in terms of that?
He's going to be placed under arrest when he gets to the office.
Oh boy.
He is pending an investigation. He could be charged.
He pulled a Lark Sage without the Lark Sageness.
Basically. However,
all right.
But really you don't know what you're up against until you talk to Sivik.
Okay.
But you already kind of have a personality profile on Sivik just from meeting him.
Yeah.
Sivik is a Vulcan. He's an XO, and he takes his job as security officer and second in command of Narendra Station very seriously. If you can imagine what Janelle Rue would have been like as a Vulcan, that's probably pretty close to Sivik. Takes his job very, very seriously.
Oh God, Tech, you're so screwed.
Yeah.
This has been so great playing with you, Xander. This is a joy having
We're
you.
gonna miss you, Chief Tech. Let us know where we can send the
for joining us. I look forward to replacing your character.
Can we get F's in the chat for Chief Tech?
No.
Yeah.
Pay respects.
I live in the break now.
Okay. So then what Exio actually is going to do is she is going to immediately stop adhering upon what you have done because she is not, that is not what she thought you were going to say, and that she has currently had an entire day of checking herself on what's appropriate, and that immediately crosses her line of what is absolutely inappropriate. It doesn't matter what your reasons are for her. Because so you see her take a big breath. And she puts her arms or her hands on your shoulders, and she says, Chief Tech?
Yeah.
You aren't going to say anything that you just said to him.
Okay.
We are going to tell the truth, and you are not going to put that much emotion into what you just said. Do you understand?
I'm not showing any emotion.
Chief Tech, I need you to get it together, because if you do not do this appropriately, you will be arrested. Do you understand the severity?
Yes, I do.
I'm very glad you asked me to come with you, and I understand the importance of this. And I'm not sure, in your state, that you do.
I hate rank and regulation. I hate all of this.
I know. Which is why I'm going to help you, okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I really need you to hear me, though, because what you have done is going to be punished. But I'm going to... But I'm... Okay. Whew. I need to know that you can collect yourself.
Consider me collected, Commander.
Do you need a moment?
I'm fine.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
And I want to squeeze your arm again.
Mhm.
Just to... We'll do this together. Let's go.
Exio's presence is giving you some confidence,
Mm.
Tech. It does feel like you're walking to the principal's office right now, but the teacher that's taking you there is on your side. So there's a little bit of just like, okay, so maybe you won't get the paddle today. As you're being taken down towards the main command area, you walk past the embassies, you're walking past the wasted space. Again, Narendra Station is packed. It is very crowded. You can see Aux crew members around, people saying hello to Exio and Tech as y'all move through the crowd. You're seeing a lot of the USS Ross is making up most of the complement of people that are out here on the promenade deck right now. But for the most part, everyone seems to be respecting everybody else's time off and is engaging with the people they don't get to see too often. It takes a few moments before you're actually able to weave through the crowds and get to the command area where you see these large double doors with the insignia of the Federation. As it opens, you find yourself walking into the liaison's office of Admiral A'Bear, where you know Commander Sivik keeps his quarters. You were going to say something, Gina?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you muted.
Apologies. Yes, one quick thing. I'm going to immediately call our lovely lawyer. And have them on standby. This is sort of the attorney call.
Who's your lawyer? Your lawyer.
Our lawyer,
right.
Young
Right.
Chanto.
You're aspiring JAG officer.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
sort of a call of like, hey, be on standby. There is a possible legal issue. Can you please start researching? Yada yada yada.
So as you get in touch,
Not Dr. Yada, just the phrase yada yada yada.
Oh, you just say yada yada yada. Because you start telling her be on standby. We might have a legal issue. And
Yeah,
you can hear
I give a quick sort of like, obviously, so they know what they're researching and can narrow down. Just a database was, I'm going to say, accidentally, illegally accessed.
Accidentally, illegally accessed.
Correct.
You hear Asmi Shanto's incredulous tone on the other end, and she says, "Okay, accidentally, illegally accessed."
Yes.
Was who and when and what was it?
Your client is going to be Chief Tech, and clearly, Chief Tech, I say while looking straight at you, accessed Narendra Station's medical files when clearly he did not mean to.
Whoops.
What Narendra Station medical files?
Yes.
Commander Exio, can I talk to you as a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, as a lawyer, I would say you need to tell me the full truth here so that I can defend you.
I am. Remove the word accidentally.
That's what I was looking for. Okay, so Chief Tech breached a secure file to look at medical files on Narendra Station's database, correct?
Correct. I need you to please give me the correct information on the HIPAA violations and...
That's his career.
I'm aware.
That's his career. However, what medical files was he looking at? What would inspire Chief Tech to do that?
This is a family member, and a deceased one at that. I know that the statute of limitations on access to that have not expired. However, I need any possible loophole, and if there aren't any, I also need to know that.
There's a loophole.
Wonderful.
He's going to be fine.
What is it?
The loophole is Admiral A'Bear.
Explain.
Well, it's no secret that the USS Ross has gained a significant amount of reputation in the past couple of months. And Chief Tech's service record these past couple of months have been ecstatic. I don't think you're going to have any problems dealing with the Admiral when you explain that he breached medical files to find out the truth about his dead brother. That's something that Admiral A'Bear, according to her personnel profile, I think she would show sympathy for and overlook after giving him a stern talking to. Commander Sivik, however, will absolutely have him thrown in a brig, shipped back to Starbase 1, and discharged dishonorably within a month.
Yes, that is who our meeting is with currently. I will make a call to Admiral A'Bear immediately.
Definitely do that as quickly as possible. And just to cover your bases, Commander, I would probably let the captain know what's happening too.
Yes.
When is your meeting with Sivik?
I believe it is this exact moment.
Okay.
I will stall.
You take the meeting and I will alert the captain and Admiral A'Bear.
That would be wonderful, thank you.
Shanto out and cuts the transmission. When Asmi Shanto finishes firing off in rapid succession everything that's happened, Captain, you find yourself in that state of somebody who knows regulation, who respects regulation, who enforces regulation, And you also are given Azmi Shanto's theory and the strategy of how to win this over. Essentially, it's putting you into very uncomfortable territory of, we're going to ask the Admiral to look at this, which is a way of saying, we're not asking for a favor. We're not asking for anything. We just want the Admiral to look at this. Because both you and Azmi Shanto know what the Admiral will do if she looks at it.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's happening right now. So you are aware that when Azmi Shanto rattles all of this off to you, as you're laying back in your quarters, Captain, you are aware that you have to make a decision now. Because they're literally walking into the lion's mouth as Shanto's finished talking to you.
Oh, the decision is whether or not we don't take this meeting?
It's up to the the meeting's happening, but it's actually because Shanto is presenting this information to the captain.
Yeah.
It's up to the captain whether or not the card of the Admiral card gets played.
I understand. We're leaving the Admiral card to Captain Saul.
Right, because she has explained that this is what I recommended. This is what I told Exio we should do. I'm bringing it to you for consideration.
Is it Sivik's protocol to have to go through Admiral A'Bear?
No,
because
he has jurisdiction.
He has jurisdiction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll call the Admiral and the Chief Medical Officer of Narendra Station, whose files he accessed, and ask all of them along with Sivik to be in the meeting. All of the parties who are in fact impacted. This is the Admiral's station, this is Sivik's domain, and this is the Chief Medical Officer's database.
So, point of clarification.
Yeah.
Just to give you a heads up, the Chief Medical Officer is from the Klingon Empire. She would not be given access to Federation files on
whose database was breached?
This would essentially fall under Sivik's jurisdiction. If she wanted to gain access to the medical files of a Federation members, she would just have to put in a request and Sivik would give access. It would not be a thing that she would have to jump through hoops for. But that access immediately falls under Starfleet personnel. So technically, these were secure medical files. These were medical records, I should say.
Okay.
Deceased Starfleet personnel. So this is not going to fall under the purview of the CMO. That's of the Klingon Empire. It's messy because the Chief Medical Officer of this starbase is Klingon. It's just one of the many things that makes this whole command structure a little messy on Narendra.
All right.
But you can still request her there. You certainly could.
Oh, yes, certainly. If I want to play a certain sort of favorites and get someone I like out of trouble when he absolutely did the thing, and we have selective application of justice, then that's very much the thing that one does.
You can also use Mackrell.
I wouldn't necessarily be averse to that, but I don't think this is really, this isn't...
Sure.
I would bring in the CMO because the CMO is ostensibly kind of the wronged party if this is the database to whom they have access.
Right. It makes sense.
We need more than just Sivik here because the wronged party should not also be in complete control of the arbitration of the situation. If this is Sivik's scope that Chief Tech infringed on, then Sivik cannot be the only one involved in justice for this. That would be inappropriate. So if nothing else, yes, the Admiral does need to be involved. Because otherwise, there's the feeling of someone being on your turf that might cause Sivik to be, how should I put this, Shanto? Illogical.
All right, so who's going to be there? You? Do you want Shanto there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, there's... You know who should be the third one present in this meeting from Narendra? They have a JAG officer. It's a station, whoever their highest ranking legal official.
That would actually be Sivik.
Okay, yeah, no, see, this is far too centralized, and no.
Welcome,
I now need the
welcome
second
to the
highest, I
frontier of. Welcome to the ass end of space. Narendra Station is
fine.
out.
We go with number 2. We go until we hit someone who is not Sivik, who cannot be judge and jury and prosecutor.
I love this. Every time you're scrolling to we need to find somebody. Okay, not him. Somebody else that does. Oh, somebody did does. It's him again. God damn it!
Right? Yes. No.
Yeah, the command
not.
structure. The command structure of Narendra Station. You're starting to get a good look. You're getting a good snapshot of how messy this is, and you're also getting a good look, finally, Captain, at what probably they have to put up with around here. Being that there are 3 governments and 2 of them control the station, what you get is sort of a cooperative mess of constantly having to negotiate who has jurisdiction over what. This has been refined because the Federation has done shit like this before in the past, DS9 being one of its primary examples of how a Federation station in somebody else's territory could actually benefit, and everyone has a certain amount of authority. Narendra Station is a little more intimate. Klingons and humans both have a say in what goes on here, and they live face to face. And as a result, a lot of the administrative duties falls on a small select group of people and branches out from there. So every time you try to go around the ladder to find out who you can talk to, all roads lead back to Sivik. And you're also getting a good glimpse at the fact that just like you should have expected as a Vulcan, this man operates like a living computer. He is taking on, you're looking at his duty schedule. When does this man sleep?
His schedule doesn't look off to me at all.
You're looking at this and you're like, yeah, that was yesterday.
I'm the one looking, and I am but the weak organic flesh, my dear commander.
Well, then it probably still feels familiar to you, and you go, Exio needs a break.
So we will cut to the scene of everyone pretty much arriving to the office.
Great, because I'll say that since all of this communication, I'm sure, is sort of being communicated while we're out front of did Captain, contact what's being done, what did Shanto communicate? So it would have been like is there
Shanto
an
basically
office for Sivik? Is there a number 2 that makes his appointments for him?
There's a liaison.
Is there a middle? There's a liaison. Okay,
it's like a waiting room, as it were.
Yeah, a waiting room. So Exio would have sort of signed in, as it were, but with the stipulation of all parties present. All parties are not currently present, so we'll take meeting when all parties arrive, sort of thing. So that they were aware that we were punctual, but that the meeting could not take place without all said parties.
Everyone is bracing for impact.
To keep Sivik, Vulcan brain happy of appointment was kept, and, try to make this smooth.
It's after your shoot fails when you're skydiving, so you start flapping your arms really, really hard.
What? Wait, what?
Stop flapping and start focusing on the backup.
Yeah, I'm not flapping. I'm just ready to pull the second string.
Well, and then backup shall arrive, having called the Admiral rather neutral about this. This is a fact-finding expedition, and they're not looking for a favor as such.
So
they
we're
just
gonna have
need an appellate role.
Yeah, you basically call in the Admiral that you need them to be
I
present.
need a second set of eyes on an incident that happened with one of my crew members.
If you spend your momentum, I will make it so.
I don't think we have
Make it
any.
so.
Oh, okay.
Master of Games.
All right. Yeah, I know there's a scene switch, but again, we do a lot of scene cutting, and so I don't want to penalize you guys because really the way we run this game is it's very, very episodic, like jumping from scene to scene like in a television show. It would be really crummy if I was like, and now you're down 24 momentum or whatever the hell. So for the next 3 games, you gain no momentum. So we will say this. You get a very clever, very confident Saurian who site-to-site transport beams you, which is, by the way, not an easy thing to do. Site-to-site transports you directly to the office in front of the office on Narendra Station. You and Shanto appear side by side. Shanto is in civilian clothes right now.
As is Sol. They had just come back from another program in the holodeck.
Right.
It's fine.
In fact, in mid-transport, you can see Shanto is finishing clipping her Bajoran earring on when she sees you as she materializes next to you and goes, "Sir, sorry. I was actually
inspect the
just coming out of the
console for a
shower
couple
when I got the
seconds.
call."
Of course. I was learning tango.
What is that? I'm sorry. You can tell me later. I'm just really curious. The doors open at that point. And as they do, you see inside Exio and Chief Tech turn and look at you.
I'm sorry.
And on cue,
Oh no.
as you say this, as everybody is gathering at this particular moment, the person at this desk, there is this human male at the desk who stands up, straightens up as Commander Sivik rounds the corner with a little bit of that long stride of somebody moving with purpose. He is flanked by 2 yellow shirts. And he steps into the room and says, "Captain."
Commander Sci-Fi.
And then he immediately turns and faces you and says, "Chief Tech Linetis, under Regulation 7, Paragraph 4, I am placing you under arrest for securing unauthorized access to files on the Federation Ranger Station. Please take him to custody immediately." And the yellow shirts immediately move forward and start clapping you in the irons, as it were. They begin to escort you out of the room.
I don't protest. I
Okay.
calmly
You
go.
are being led to the brig. Commander Sivak looks at the 2 of you and just says, "Thank you. I
I'll
will
need
keep
you
you
to
notified."
provide a copy of those charges to my yeoman,
Of course.
as well as
Vincent.
your full detailed report.
He hands it to you right there.
Good.
You see a record log of the breach. It happened about 45 minutes ago. You see the transcript of the communications along with a audio log of the communications. You see the files that were accessed. As you're looking at this, Captain, you're like, yes, Chief Tech breached a Federation restricted file using an unauthorized program and was caught in the act. As you're looking at this, Sivik waits politely for a moment for you to read, and when it seems like he's satisfied that you've read enough of the charges, he just very sincerely states, "I will keep you notified as to the progress of his court-martial." Shanto speaks up at that point and says, "I don't know that there's going to be a court-martial, Commander. I mean, I think there are certain circumstances here." About that point, Admiral A'Bear comes into the room. She is wearing that casual admiral's jacket that you saw Picard wear from time to time. That's kind of open and suede. Has sort of like the folded tunic on underneath, and she is wearing the duty uniforms underneath. But as she comes striding in, this woman who's about 5'5", hair pulled back, just exuding authority, and she walks into the room and she's like, "All right, who's getting kicked out of Starfleet and for what?" "Admiral, Chief Tech Linetis was discovered accessing in an unauthorized manner files from the Federation database. I have a copy of the report for you here," and hands a second data pad over to the Admiral. The Admiral takes a look at it. Raiku Linetis. Can't be a coincidence.
The
Relative.
brother.
His brother.
His brother. He broke into Federation medical files to look up information about his dead brother.
I was informed, if this is going to be on the record or not, I'm not sure, but it has come to my attention that his brother's remains were found and he was informed this morning.
Captain, I don't know why your chief of engineering didn't think he could just ask somebody for this, but something must have compelled him to do it behind people's backs.
Family make us all do ill-advised things from time to time.
Whose idea was it to call me in on this?
Mine.
Smart. Commander, Sivik straightens and says, "Yes, Admiral." And she says, "How long have we worked together now?" The Vulcan looks at her for a second and then quirks an eyebrow and does that kind of Tuvok thing where he knows something that he doesn't necessarily agree with is coming, and sort of he exhales while he does the kind of head wobble and says, "Roughly 14 years, Admiral. So you know me pretty well, don't you?" "That is a logical assumption, Admiral. So why don't we say let Chief Tech cool his heels in a brig for 8 hours and then forget about this?" I would find that acceptable. It's going to set you back on the refit, Captain, but maybe you can chew your chief out for that.
Oh, I will.
Well, this was exciting. Career saved. I'm going to go back to my drink now, if you need me. And with that, Admiral, would you like to join me?
I would love to.
Please. I haven't had a chance to really talk to you guys.
I would like to also just add a stipulation in the release, sort of the parole requirements of release. Because we know the chief does not schedule counseling sessions, and it is incredibly worrying. So I would say one of the requirements is mandatory counseling with me.
That's a smart requirement. All right. By order of Starfleet, as part of his parole requirements of getting out of the brig, instead of rotting in there for the rest of his natural days, he will have to take counseling sessions on at least a weekly basis. But this will be held at Exio's discretion, meaning if Commander Exio wants to see Chief Tech Lenatus twice a day, she gets to see Chief Tech Lenatus twice a day, and he will have to maneuver his schedule to accommodate her. Does that sound good to you, Captain?
Seems eminently agreeable to me.
Good.
Zendari's going to have her work cut out for her.
Let's go get that drink.
Oh, please.
And the three of you walk out, leaving Shanto just in the office, who just goes, watches the flag officers leave as she just kind of exhales for a second.
Guess who's processing the paperwork? Because the command officer's all bounced.
Where is Olin Majunil?
Olin has probably been staying on the station to stay close to whatever has been going on there. So they've been spending all their time in the Federation embassy, and probably not so much on the ship since their last conversation with the captain.
Okay. In the Federation embassy, Olin, you receive a very mysterious communication on a data pad that's right in front of you. And all it says is, meet me in the main shuttle bay.
Curious. All right then. Patience. Let's go.
Narendra Station is, as Sam Delev would say, large. Quite large. This is, again, this station is roughly half the size of Starbase 1, making it, yes, Jody, massive. It's big enough that it could accommodate multiple starships around its orbit and even dock with them. So the main shuttle bay obviously dwarfs the USS Ross. It's able to accommodate scale 2 ships coming and going as it needs to. So the bottom half of this shuttle bay is big enough where warp-capable transports of civilian craft are coming and going. Multiple versions of the Orion Interceptor could fit inside this shuttle bay in a line across the bay itself. So when you come in here, it is this grand, cavernous echo chamber that spans the radius of the entire station, with hundreds and hundreds of personnel moving through here. The sound of Klingons shouting at each other and tools being dropped that are probably echoing from a third of a mile away. It's large. As you enter the station, you kind of are finding yourself wandering around a little bit. You're definitely out of place. Everyone down here is in either Federation full uniform, civilian uniform, or they're in Klingon uniform. And they're giving you glances as they walk past you. But as you approach what is a stack of cargo containers, you hear... and a slight glance. You feel emotionally, Olin, you feel this excited anticipation, not hostility. more like an eagerness to talk to you.
Yes. And I think Olin kind of sort of doesn't make immediate eye contact or anything like that. They sort of kind of tuck themselves up, like in the direction of the cleared throat.
Okay.
But they're not entirely sure whether or not they're supposed to draw attention to themselves, so they try not to call attention to themselves.
There is a shadowy figure standing next to these large cargo containers who does not step out into the light, but he does move close to you so that you can hear his voice. And when he speaks, there's this instant recognition when you realize who it is. And you hear Sorex say to you, I felt like this might be a better way of meeting, unlike we did last time, when I needed to speak to you with no one around.
Well, it's certainly better than a knife, than a gun to my back.
Yes, I don't think the captain will let me have weapons. But even if they did, I certainly wouldn't be pointing any of them at my friends.
We're friends then.
For my part, yes.
How can I help you, Sorex?
No. This is me coming to help you, Olin. I owe you. And a certain Romulan ambassador just made a fatal mistake by trying to recruit me. We're going to go on break. It's 8:04. We will be back in 10 minutes, so we will see you soon. I just want to say for the record that the first episode of Discovery was fucking awesome. It was so good. It was so exciting. It was so good. What they're doing with Discovery right now is what I had hoped they'd always do with Discovery.
And there's a cat.
And there is a cat. There's a very large cat.
There's a cat.
Named
The cast
Grudge.
is awesome. Mwah.
There's a cat named Grudge. Yep, that's the name of the cat, is Grudge.
You can hold them.
It's a big cat. It has a thyroid
You
problem.
can hold a grudge.
It's very. I think the exact line was, "It's very big and is all mine."
Yeah. No more. We won't give any more spoilers. There's not going to be spoilers. Just know that there is a cat, and it's a great first episode. I'm thrilled at what they're doing, and I would love to run a Star Trek game set in the setting of where Discovery is right now, because it is so good. It's just so good. So now that I'm psyched for Star Trek again, let's go ahead and jump back into this tense moment between the shadowy figure that you know now as Sorex, standing off to the side in this main cargo bay here in Narendra Station, has just told you something of a jaw-dropping revelation that's got your blood pumping, Olin. And you don't feel any deception coming from Sorex. What you feel is that anticipation. The way maybe a predator might feel before they pounce on something. The stuff that the captain is trying to distance themselves from, Sorex lives for this shit. And you can feel the energy coursing in him as he's telling you this information. What's up, Sam? You had a question?
Yes. I was having a body at the very, very end, right before we went to break, and so I didn't hear the revelation. Can you tell me the cliff that we're hanging from?
Sure,
please?
yes.
Thank you.
So right before we went to break, Sorex revealed that he was the one that had called Olin down to the main cargo bay. They had a banter back and forth about how this time that he's talking to them, it's different because he's not pulling a weapon. And Sorex made a wisecrack about how the captain doesn't let me carry weapons anymore, and I especially wouldn't want to pull one on friends. Olin said, "Are we friends?" And Sorex said, "For my part." And Olin said, "Well, what can I do for you?" And Sorex said, "Oh no, it's what I can do for you, because a certain Romulan ambassador just made the fatal mistake of trying to recruit me." And that's where we went on break. I knew that'd make you happy. So we cut back to this moment where that revelation has settled in your ears, Olin. You find yourself instinctively glancing around to see how many people might be in here looking at you, particularly instinctively looking around to see if there are any Romulans in here. There are none that you can see, except for the one in the darkness to your left.
Did he now?
What do you know about General Kargan? He seems to be taking a particular interest in the Klingon general.
I know that you can keep a secret. You're trained in doing such.
Do you have a secret you want me to keep, Ambassador?
Yes, I do. But whatever happens, you cannot... You have to find a way to make sure the captain doesn't know how you found out this information.
Done. Easy.
It is very possible that General Kargan is in league with members of a forsaken Klingon house, one that once had strong ties to a certain Romulan. Well, she fashions herself a leader that you and I
Sela.
both know. Yes.
Doros. Kargan is dealing with Doros.
Very glad you're good at your job.
The ambassador is currying favor with me, I think, not only because he wants to utilize my skill sets, but I believe he thinks that I am a way of getting in good with my father. As you know, Admiral Mendak carries an extraordinary amount of authority and weight in the current upset of the Romulan Star Empire, and is siding with the Senate at the moment, which is where Pagino wants him. I think he wants to get closer to my father. I have a feeling Ambassador Pagino has his sights on the higher offices of the Romulan Senate. I don't think he intends to remain an ambassador on the edge of space for long. I think he requested this assignment specifically because he was trying to get close.
It makes me wonder just how bad the leaks are, if he had any inkling at all that you would be on our ship.
It's possible.
Because why on earth would he try to be getting close to Narendra unless he was trying to get close to us? And why would he be getting close to us unless he knew you were going to be on the ship?
It's possible, but you'll work your mind into a frenzy if you deal too much in the what-ifs.
Yes, I try not to do that too much, but unfortunately, times being what they are, and our situation being what it is,
He wants
I've
me
had to do quite a bit more of that than I've wanted to. What does he want to do? Want you to do?
He wants me to prove my loyalties. Is there information that might seem sensitive that I could give the ambassador on to make it seem as though I stole it from the Federation? Nothing actually sensitive, but something enough that it would appease and perhaps fool him. If you can do that for me, Ambassador, I can gain his trust, and then I can figure out the situation with this Klingon and what this ambassador wants.
When you say sensitive, do you have a particular idea in mind?
No, not really, to be honest with you. I certainly don't want him knowing what the Ross has been doing. I don't think that's any of his concern. I don't think it would serve him. I'd like to do this in a way that doesn't betray the captain, preferably. Although nothing that I'm suggesting is going to be something that they would like.
No, I don't think it will be.
Do you want to follow me down this path, Ambassador? Because if you do, we can gain the upper hand on this bastard.
I want my captain to find a way out of the situation they're constantly finding themselves in. They said something to me the other day about doing for others what others cannot do for themselves. And I find myself in a position to do that for them. So yes, Sorex, I will follow you down this path.
I promise I won't lead you too far. I need you to be able to be Olin Marjorneil. You can't do that if you go where I go. But I can promise you this. No one's going to die. This is simple espionage. It's what I was bred for. Here's what I can tell you about Ambassador Pagino. After speaking with the man for over an hour, I genuinely believe that he subscribes to principles I would like to see in the Romulan Senate. But he doesn't display the virtues of a man who's willing to go the right direction to get them. He seems to be inclined towards ruthlessness when he may not necessarily have to be. And this is what's made him vulnerable. I firmly believe he has his eyes set on the position of Praetor. A lofty goal, but not out of reach if he was to gain the favor of Admiral Mindak.
I got a similar feeling from him in my conversations with him as well. He is a Romulan of singular ambition.
The best way to deal with him. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was going to suggest that the best way to deal with him is to make him think that he's getting what he wants.
I must confess I'm not entirely sure where to begin, but I will do what I can to help you. I think that getting him off our table for a little while might be a good thing.
Very well.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Oh, yes. This is an opportunity to pay back my friends the way I can pay them back for the kindness that they've shown me. Of course, Saul would hate this, and it could get me killed. Particularly if I'm found with the Klingons. It could cause a diplomatic event. But I am not going to fail. I spent years under deep cover, walking next to admirals at Starfleet Command without them even knowing. Klingons?
Yes, I certainly was going to pull a leaf from Captain Sull's book, lean forward, arch an eyebrow, and say, well, then don't get caught. But
Can I make a suggestion for you?
Well, please. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You don't have to mean it. But Pagino's in a position to make you and your life very difficult. Whatever it is that you said to him, I would pretend like I was sorry. He's not happy with you. I didn't press the matter. You see, even from the smiles, that angular face, you can see that flash of teeth as he grins and looks around to make sure that no one's watching the surroundings. When he glances back and he says, whatever you said to him, I've never seen a man who keeps his composure that riled. Olin, if you want, I can teach you how to do this. You want to learn the trade? It's not always just negotiation. Sometimes it's knowing exactly how to pull the right string when you need it. It's reading people, manipulating them. When you need to do it for the right cause, you can even cause your conscience to get quiet long enough to get the job done and maybe save some lives. Get people talking. No one knows how long this peace is going to last now that the Dominion War is done. But my people have shown every indication that they have not changed. I estimate 5 more years of this supposed peace before my people is back at the throat of the Federation. It doesn't have to be like that if we get the right people in power. But that's not our problem. Our problem is Pagino, and making sure that Pagino doesn't cause any problems for the Federation or the people here at Narendra Station. If you want, I can teach you some tools of the trade. You could learn how the Tal Shiar do it.
May I ask you a question?
Of course.
May you answer it honestly?
Yes.
What do you think going down that path would do to someone like me?
Help you find out who you really are? And it will equip you to deal with a galaxy that doesn't play by the same rules the Federation plays by. And the best part, you don't have to cross the line if you don't want to. Sometimes it's all right to accept a loss. I can teach you how the Tal Shiar does it. That doesn't mean you need to put a disruptor in your hand, Olin. You can just learn how to read people, know what they want, and with your empathic abilities, it could be extraordinary. For my part, consider this as repayment for saving my life. And I will promise to you that when you say stop, we stop. If you don't want to go any further, we don't go any further. But I warn you, Olin, as Captain Sol has discovered, once you discover you're good at this, you won't want to stop. You'll try, and you may even make overtures that you want to, but deep down, there's a reason you keep getting drawn back into it. It's because it's who you really are. Think about it. You don't have to give me an answer now. I have work to do with Pagino. All you need to do right now is pretend like whatever it is you said to him, you were drunk. You were angry. You had a fight with your father. Make up whatever excuse you want, but pretend you're sorry and do it well. Deal?
Deal.
It's good to feel useful again. And he slides back into the shadows, eerily vanishing in the corner of your eye like he was never there. This former elite agent of the Tal Shiar, you find yourself standing alone in this expansive cargo bay. Just the sounds of tools and people shouting. An entire galaxy, an economy, an activity that is happening, people going about their daily lives, completely oblivious to the conversations of power that have been taking place in the small little corner of this hangar bay, unaware of the deals that have been discussed. a former Tal Shiar agent offering to mentor you and equip you to dealing with people like Pugino. Historically, the Tal Shiar have a reputation, and there is kind of, judging from what I'm seeing, that sense of making your skin crawl. You're not entirely sure what he's going to mentor you in or what he's asking. All you know is that Tal Shiar is one of the most efficient, most brutal intelligence agencies in the galaxy, and they implant their agents with things that can kill them if they ever wander too far off the path. What could he have to teach you? It could be useful, Olin, or this could be a moment of dangerous change in your life. It's hard to say. But I will give you this. In this moment of confusion in your questioning, you do have brief glimpses of your engagements with the Vorta and then with the Romulan ambassador. Each time you have bulldozed into an ambassadorial meeting with the truth. Each time you've walked into the room and presented the way things are to people who want to mask and navigate around the way things are and bend it to their advantage. And as a diplomat, it's put you at a disadvantage time and time again. And each time you had to go warrior to get yourself out of it. I'll leave you with that. This Tal Shiar agent is offering to teach you a way to weaponize what you have learned as a Federation officer and what you as a Deltan have as a gift. And while it would definitely bring up a lot of ethical questions, it might be the solution. Or not. Olin is just left standing there in the cargo bay thinking about this. This angelic-looking being completely out of place, surrounded by the workforce that is swarming around them.
I don't get to have a normal day, do I?
You become aware of somebody standing next to you, and when you instinctively glance, it's Patience, who's looking up at you with this fluffed tail just sweeping the floor of the cargo bay, staring at you like, why are we standing still so long? Just waiting obediently to find out if you're going to start moving again.
Olin sort of crouches, squats down next to her and just kind of buries their face in Patience's fur and just kind of
it's one of those moments where you kind of wish the dog would just reciprocate that and just kind of lean up against your head too, but your face is there, so Patience can't, has to lick, just has to. It's like it lasts for about a second where it's nice and calm, and then it's like you're getting tongue in the nose, and you're getting tongue on the side of your eye, and it's
want to go play fetch. Let's go.
They lift one paw the moment you raise the octave of your voice, and they see the excitement perk up. They raise one paw and look at you. And as you move, they, not watching where they're going, they just watch you as they move by your side, kind of dancing next to you as you walk out of the cargo bay.
Dog is the best thing about me.
That's true in all of our cases, Aki. Our dogs are the best part of us. So, which is why Mackrell is about to die. Just kidding. So anyway, the Borg shows up.
Whoa. Wait, okay,
says,
I can take a
No, we don't
Borg.
assimilate cats. Sorry.
I took a changeling. I could take a Borg. Let's go.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to pick a fight with Gina here.
Roll for initiative. Here we go.
All right.
I mean, we all lose to the Bork.
Yep, the Borg. You just killed Xander. Okay. Speaking of which, Tech, you are hitting hour number 3 in the brig, and there has been no word. You have no idea what conversation happened out there after you were dragged into this place. All you know is you were dragged away, put in the brig, the force field was activated, you were brought a dinner because now it's coming to the end of the day, and it's becoming apparent you're spending the night here.
So,
as food has been brought to you.
Trying his best to obey Exio's last order that he received of not showing that he's upset or anything, he's been standing at attention in the back corner, And you can see there are just tears streaming down his face, and there's like snot coming down his nose, but he's just like lip quivering, just standing there, and he hasn't touched the meal.
Okay.
And that's just how he's spending his time.
You know things are bad when Tech doesn't go for the food.
Mm.
Oh no.
That's quite an interpretation of my order.
I'm not showing nothing.
So, a few moments of this when the doors to the brig open up and a figure strides into the room. Now, Tech, you laying down and staring straight ahead, you're not really paying attention to who's just walked in, but you do hear the voices, "Can I help you?" And you hear a very evened, almost lyrical voice with sort of you can hear the compassion in the voice. Just say, "I brought the prisoners some food, if that's all right. We'll have to scan it." All right, you're good. Chief, you got a visitor.
And I'll look up.
Wearing deep, rich, silken, greenish robes with a lattice work of gold coursing through them, all the way up to what looks like sort of these sharpened shoulder pads kind of arc off the side. Almost looks imperialistic looking, with these long, flowing sleeves that drew all the way down to almost waist level. It looks like a intergalactic kimono, with a little bit of Romulan influence from the way that there's a bit of like an arc going off of the shoulders and a high back collar, which accentuates the haircut that kind of swerves off to the side, exposing that long Vulcan ear on the left side of their head. You see Solon smiling at you gently and holding a plate of food that they have cooked. The force field goes, and Solon steps in and says, "I heard you went and got yourself into a peck of trouble."
No, I didn't do anything.
Of course you didn't, sweetie. Of course you didn't. And he presses a button and this table slides out from the wall, and Solon immediately presses another button and a holographic chair materializes as they slide into the chair. And they set down this plate of food, this Bolian fare, as well as a few like pieces of fare from Earth, like you see snails from France and all these sort of like escargot and like drinks and whatnot laid out. It's a bit of a feast.
Mm.
And Solon starts to set out silverware for both you and them.
Mm.
Sets it down. Says, "So, I heard you got an important message."
As soon as Tech sits down, he doesn't break eye contact with Solon. It's like his body moves with him thinking, and it just starts shoveling food into his mouth, but he's still just looking at Solon with like tears in his eyes.
Solon's face is just beautiful and calm, looking at you compassionately as they're just waiting for you to talk. Doesn't react as you're shoveling the food in your mouth. Very delicately starts cutting a piece of what looks like maybe boiled carrot. You're not sure.
I always try to be the best version of a Starfleet officer because I know that's what he would want me to be. And I found out that I'm just in trouble, and I think my career is over. But that's okay because I deserve to be in trouble because I broke the rules. But I didn't. Don't tell the commander that I said anything. This is delicious.
Solon doesn't react. Solon just kind of sits there and listens and nods and says, "Yeah, I heard you got into some trouble, all right.
Hey, maybe I could work at the bar."
Do you want to work at the bar? I'll always take some help if you want to work at the bar."
I don't know if I could show myself on the Ross anymore. I got decommissioned and fired, and
That's not what I heard.
what am I going to tell my family? Oh, I gotta go on the run. Solon, I need a new identity. And I look over towards the guards that are at the brig.
And Solon looks you in the eye, leans over and says, "Yes, Tech, you do. You've been living for your brother. You've been wearing that uniform for your brother. You've been trying to behave for your brother. You do need a new identity. Because this isn't working for you.
He should have lived. He should have lived. He was helping people. They should have taken me. I don't do anything. He's valuable. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve the things that I have, the position that I got. I'm a fraud. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do to get that voice to shut up. I know it well. A lot of us do. It's part of having a brain, I guess. Let me ask you something, though. You like empirical data.
Yeah.
Do you trust Captain Sol?
Of course I do.
Captain's a good captain. They've been around the galaxy. I don't know if you've heard about some of the things they've done, but they've been around.
I see where you're going with this, Solon, and I'm gonna stop you there. It was a favor. The captain knows me, knows that I needed to get out there.
I'm not sure that's true, though, Chief. Let me ask you something. Knowing what you know about Captain Sol, do you think that they would risk putting somebody in charge of a ship, an experimental ship, the only one of her kind, with 2 warp cores? Do you think Captain Azari Sol, the first Orion captain in Starfleet, former intelligence officer, complete and total hard ass, would ever put someone in command of their ship's engineering as a favor?
Well, I may just be a master of deception then.
You're certainly good at tricking yourself. And Solon cuts another piece off. You're allowed to have these voices, Tech. You're allowed to feel this way. It's just not true, though.
Well,
You know,
I would beg to differ, considering I'm in the brig and no longer an officer and just got fired and I'm going to have to look for a job now.
word on the street is nothing's going to come of this. The Admiral decided to let you cool your heels in here for the next 8 hours, and then you're back on the job. I suspect Captain Sol's probably going to rip you a new one, as they like to say in Starfleet. And Solon smiles as they fork another mouthful of this carrot and just stares at you, kind of with this shit-eating grin on their angular, beautiful Vulcan face. And then when they take a sip of the water, they look at you again and say, "You're fine. There's not a person on board the USS Ross or in Starfleet, save perhaps that tight ass out there who's wearing the red uniform, who doesn't understand what you did, Chief." Frankly, I would have done it too. 8 hours in the brig, small price to pay for finding out what you need to know.
But that's the problem, Solon. Nothing happened. I didn't figure out anything. If anything, all that I did was put distrust in one of my fellow companions, Dr. Mackrell. She told me what I needed to hear, and it matched what I found. What's wrong with me?
Why do you think there's something wrong with you?
I don't know, and I don't know what's wrong with... Why can't I just accept what happened to Reiku?
I don't know, Tech, I don't. It's not uncommon for us to not want to let go. I have extended family that will never speak to me. I'm somebody they don't understand. I don't follow the teachings. I'm somebody unique. I'm my own person. I had to let go. It wasn't easy. And even when I think I let go, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night wishing I could still talk to my mother. It's not easy. You don't have to forget people. Letting go is about taking control of your life. It's not about actually letting go. Think of it as not a retreat, but an advance in a new direction. Somebody said that once.
Solon, I don't have the coordinates. Where am I going?
Well, after you finish this meal, you get
It's good, by the way. This is fantastic. It's excellent.
You're damn right it is. And takes another forkful and says, after you finish this meal, you're going to get some sleep. It's going to be hard, but you'll eventually drift off. And when you wake up, this force field's going to go down and you're going to hear Captain Soul's irritated voice demanding that you report to their quarters, I'm sure, or the ready room or wherever it is they want to dress you down. And when you get there, they're going to dress you down, and it's not going to be pleasant. And when it's done, you're going to go back to the engine room, and you're going to make the Ross better. And then after that, when the Ross leaves space dock, you're going to go back to the engine room, and you're going to make the Ross better. One foot in front of the next, Chief Tech. One foot in front of the next. You're doing great. Someone goes back into cutting. What's that?
No matter what I do with the mechanics of it, Solon, you always make the Ross better.
Well, considering how much of my quarter space is used up for clothing, I hope that's the case.
Oh, you don't replicate them every time. That's fascinating. You keep everything?
It's a pain, but I have an appreciation for handcraft.
So, do you think you could rustle up a pillow for me, maybe? I mean, this is just a little uncomfortable on this cold bench.
Sure.
Thanks.
Solon reaches down, and there's this kind of like sound of silk sliding through silk, and Solon pulls this robe off, revealing this very simple white robe that is underneath, very comfortable. And Solon pulls it down and folds it over and folds it over, and then takes the belt that they were wearing, and wraps it around and ties it, and hands you essentially this big silk pillow. That's for you.
It still smells great.
I got to get back to 10 forward. Just because everyone's away doesn't mean I can't leave my bar for too long. You enjoy this food.
Really, thank you. Thank you.
A small smile, and then Solon says, "You're doing fine. Keep it up."
And he just sort of falls back into the pillow.
Okay. You hear the as the force field reignites, and Solon strides out of the room, wearing less than they were when they came in. The pillow is incredibly comfortable. It is real silk. You're not sure where it came from or what kind, but as you nestle against it, both the scent on this pillow and the smell of this hot food wafting through the area, Tech, it is a blanket of peace in here for a second. And you can hear the two ensigns outside the force field. And one of them has the audacity to say, "Who was that?" Kind of like to the other one, like, "Damn, like who was that?" Or like walking out the door. At the wasted space, there are 3 flag officers sitting among the chaos of Narendra Station. Again, this place is popping with both Klingon and Federation members and civilian members moving through here. This place has become, Narendra Station is at capacity right now with all the people passing through the sector. There's a lot of promise here in the Shackleton Expanse, and so there's a lot of people that are passing through, but also, again, with the Ross that is currently docked, there's 2,000 plus crew members that have disembarked and are coming and going as they need to. So there's a den of noise in here. But it's nice. It's like being at a bar that's not blasting loud music. It just has a lot of people in it. So you don't have to raise your voice too much, and it's not sensory overload. It's just a lot of people. I know, Sam, I know you appreciate that. Remember the alpha parties? Oh my God. Am I giving you PSD flashback on that one? Alpha parties were just rough. Turn the music down, for God's sake. What the hell? Anyway. Sorry.
If you use sign language, you don't have to raise your voice and get hoarse the next day.
It's true. It's so true. All right.
Room full of lovely nerds wanting to talk and being forced to dance?
I know.
But I want to talk!
Yeah. So, so the three of you are sitting at the table, and a big glass stein has just been left right in front of everybody, where you see this alcohol has been poured. It looks like it is synthahol, not actual alcohol, so it's not going to have the fun effects. And on the rocks, Admiral A'Bear pours each of you brandy. I hope you don't mind it on the rocks. That's the way I usually like to take it.
I don't mind. I look to Axia.
The good news is the ice doesn't melt, so it won't lose anything.
Currently, I believe I have a handful of memories encoded to certain colors of liquids.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, this is one of the shades that has one. So, this will be just fine.
It takes the Admiral a moment, but she glances up at you and goes, I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry.
Luckily, our current brig boy did. So.
And it means the one you just poured goes to me. Thank you very much. I get a double.
Starfleet wants to promote me.
Oh. What are they going to give you? Should I be offering congratulations or condolences? Admirals always seem so upset by the idea of becoming more important. Until, of course, they do.
We'll see. But I will accept any ass-kissing you want to give me, Sol. More than the standard that you should be giving a flag officer.
Naturally. I am not but a servant of your posterior. Cheers.
Cheers. Clinking of the glasses as the Admiral downs it in one shot. And she sets it down and looks around and she's like, this is what I always envisioned for Narendra Station. This is what I always wanted to see. It's finally happening. We're seeing the beginnings of people wanting to move out here and explore the frontiers. And the Federation is the one that's leading the way, and the Ross, along with the other starships that we have here stationed in the quadrant. Y'all are making it happen.
Doing what we can. Looking forward to taking more of a look around the neighborhood. Meeting more of the neighbors, perhaps. I hear things are going well with the Jashashians.
They are. The Jashashian people are adorable, if you don't mind me saying so. It's their greeting. I love their greeting. It's ridiculous. Don't let them ever hear... I didn't say that. She smiles and says, but they're warm and they're wonderful and they are inquisitive. My reservations is that they should not be admitted into the Federation as quickly as they're being considered. We've only just made contact with them. This should take years. But the Federation is still reeling from the Dominion War, frankly. And new Federation members brings in new resources for the Federation. So the process is being accelerated against my explicit protests.
Who's accelerating it then?
The Federation Council. They believe that this is in the best interest of Starfleet. It's not just the Jashashians. First contact is moving pretty quickly these days. Federation lost a lot. A lot of infrastructure was damaged during the Dominion War. And there's a lot of people that think we can make up for it by welcoming new folks in.
A lot of first contacts we made during that time, we ended up neglecting. Didn't get any follow-up till after the war, so not surprising there's a little bit of rubber banding.
There's a little bit of rubber banding. It's dangerous, in my opinion. It's dangerous. We're still learning about the Jashashian people. What are their ties to the Tholians? We still haven't been able to figure that out. We know that the Tholians were tied to their planet. We know that a crystalline entity was born from their homeworld. How many things are in play? We just don't know. But they have unique technologies that can tip the hand in the favor of ships that don't require cloaking devices.
And provide untold avenues of scientific discovery. I have to confess, my chief science officer is delighted, not only by the charm of the Jashashians, but also by the potential subspace theory implications.
Yeah, I should talk to you about that. You and Exio might be interested in hearing this. Your research and the information that you've turned over about Jashashian technology has caused a sudden storm of inspiration in Starfleet regarding propulsion.
Really?
Really? You see, ever since Voyager came back, people have been trying to crack the equation of a slipstream drive. The manipulation of subspace has a lot to do with that, and the research that the Jashashians have turned over may have just helped us gain a few years' worth of advance on that. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yes, and precisely the sort of thing we, the Federation, wouldn't want to bring into the fold too quickly.
Well, even if they figure it out, we're decades away before we can implement that kind of technology. But we're decades closer now, no doubt.
All I can
Makes you
say
wonder
is
what else is out there.
underestimate science and engineering of Starfleet at your own peril, Admiral. I've seen miracles from my crew that nothing ought to be possible. And then they go get themselves brigged.
Yeah, you're going to have to give him a stern talking to, Captain. I understand why he was doing what he was doing, but he's got to learn to trust that he can go through his crew to figure out what he needs to know. But if I can be so bold, I've gotten the impression from Chief Tech that he doesn't really know what the hell he's doing in Starfleet.
I look to Exio.
Exio, it's kind of surprising to hear the Admiral say this.
Yeah.
But it kind of confirms, like, wow, I guess everybody knows.
There's a certain level of imposter syndrome, I imagine, that radiates off of him. Especially right now.
I think you could pick it up on long-range sensors, quite frankly.
You should have seen me when I first got my Admiral bar. I was certain Starfleet made a mistake. That first week, I seriously considered handing it back and resigning.
You? I can't imagine you being anything but an Admiral, forgive my saying. I imagine you came into the world that way.
Just popped out of the womb with the Admiral bars on?
I mean, I don't know how it works among you humans.
That's fair. No, I wanted to quit. I was no longer in command of a starship, Captain. I was in command of 12 starships. And then I was assigned to Narendra Station in command to an entire sector. An unknown sector with 3 Federation starships under my control and 1 incoming. You guys. Let me tell you something. The USS Ross, that is a ship the Federation Council takes a lot of interest in. Not only because of your exploits, but because she's one of her kind. She's the grand experiment. And I'm the Admiral that can't be responsible for breaking her.
We appreciate that. And the sensor package.
Well, anything I can do to help there. I don't know how much more technology we can pack onto the Ross, though. Pretty soon we're going to have to start strapping things to the sides of the nacelles.
Oh, I'm sure we have a couple attachment points we haven't taken advantage of yet. Please. Keep them coming. The best things about this ship are the new, exciting, the untested. They've brought us the most success so far. I just clink Exio's glass a little bit.
Exio, as the glass clinks and you're smiling at the captain, you see a notification pop up on your data pad.
All right. The clink sort of snaps me out of. I know what the captain was saying, and my brain is sort of definitely. I have a different reason why I know that our ship is miraculous, and then what's the notification? Because I was in the middle of my brandy memory. So yes.
True to his tone, there is a long apology disclaimer before it finally gets to the fucking point, Exio. Sorry, I know this is like your time off, and I know you probably should be doing something else right now, and I don't want to bug you. But if it's cool, if you are available...
Is this Fred?
Yes. It says, it'd be great if I could talk to you maybe like right now.
I look to my comrades and give one final... it seems my staycation is at an end for the night.
You leaving us, Exio?
Yes.
Well, I can't finish yours. That's on you.
Yes. Please continue praising our ship as I go tend to the parts that I keep working. And, I leave.
Transitioning out of the hollow projectors here in the wasted space, you move into the main corridor and head towards the transporter pad. The Admiral watches her leave and shakes her head and says, 5 years ago, the technology for her to even exist wasn't here yet. It is incredible how fast things move. Imagine a galaxy without Commander Exio. 5 years. It's incredible. When I watch her drink out of that glass, it's incredible.
Imagine making commander in 5 years of your life. She is remarkable. She's a remarkable officer. One of the best I've ever served with.
Controversy over her assignment to the Ross has not gone away.
Good for them.
Some of the people who don't agree with the assignment are on the council, Captain.
Well, I don't care if it's someone on the promenade in the station in the middle of nowhere or the president of the Federation.
You'd be surprised.
Feel she's controversial, they're wrong.
You'd be surprised at some of the people that have come to her defense, though. This is all in the Federation News Network back at home.
Would I be?
Pretty much anybody who's had a hand in the development or the maintaining of AI has stepped forward and said a thing or two on Exio's behalf. Not just the doctor, famous doctor. Captain of the USS Titan stepped forward recently.
Huh. I didn't know the captain was acquainted.
He's not, but he apparently is very opinionated about AI and its incorporation into Starfleet. Passionately believes that Exio has every right to serve in the position that she does. Probably something to do with the fact that he's been involved in at least one trial that I know of about synthetic rights.
Well, then I think he has every right to continue being captain of the Titan. Clearly understands the caliber of a good officer.
Let me get serious with you for a second, though. She sets the glass down and leans in and says, what the Ross is doing is great work, Captain. You and your crew are doing great work. You're the pride of the fleet out here at Narendra Station. But the scrutiny never ends. And despite all of your achievements, there are members on the council that just want to see Exio fuck up once. Just once. It's not fair. It's bullshit. And we're being very loud about it. I don't want to put too much pressure on your shoulders, but I do want to let you know what's at stake.
I'm the first Orion captain. I understand what it means to be an example.
If anyone does, I knew it would be you.
And she never will, by the way.
Captain, I have
never going
no
to see
doubt.
her fuck up.
I'm not looking for an actual mistake, Captain. I'm looking for them to come up with a reason to think that she made a mistake. That's where I come in. And I will do what I can to protect the Ross. Remember, you all have friends in high places too. It's not like they're coming for you. They're just looking for a reason to come for you. And we're not going to give them that reason.
Of course not. They want to get to my commander. They have to come directly and, frankly, bodily through me. And Sol sits back into their chair and just looks very tall.
Okay. You, of course, are dramatically taller than the Admiral. She glances up at you and offers her glass to clank.
I'm not giving them that chance.
All right. Exio, when you arrive at Vrin's quarters and the doors open, there's sort of this immediate like, whoa, what the? Because you see Vrin is just wearing a tank top and the dress bottoms, but he looks rough. His hair is kind of disheveled and his eyes are sunken. He looks exhausted. And when he sees you at the door, he goes, Commander, yeah, did I call you?
Yes. May I come in?
Yeah, come on in. I need to clean up. It's been, sorry. Oh God, look at this mess. And literally the only thing, Exio, that's out of place is his duty jacket, which is slumped over a chair. And he goes, I'm sorry, this is embarrassing. And he picks it up and he folds it and he sets it down at the foot of a well-made bed. He goes, there, that's better.
I gesture to my apparel and I say, would you like this to be a session or do you want to talk to me as your commander?
Oh, I didn't let you finish.
That's all right.
Was it better than the first thing you were saying? Because the first thing sounded perfect.
I go into the blues.
He goes, yeah. That's a color I'm familiar with. Joke.
Would you like to have a seat?
Yep. And he sits down. He slides into the chair and he rubs his face.
May I sit down?
Yeah, please. Can I get you anything? Do you want anything to not drink?
I laugh at his joke.
Okay. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while.
That's all right. I'm glad you called today.
So I had to rehearse this because I didn't want to wing it, because I knew I wouldn't say anything if I was going to wing it. So I had to I went through a couple of drafts actually. He pulls up a data pad and he's like, I'm not a good writer. I'm a good pilot.
Please read it for me.
Okay. Hey, hey, Exio. I need to talk to you. If it's okay for a sec, if I can just vent a little bit. I was originally gonna tell the cat this.
That's right. You two are close, right? It's normal to want to tell your friends things that are bothering you.
Yeah. But the cat's got a lot on her mind, She deals with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff the cat doesn't like to say, and I always feel like it would be bad to burden her, So,
what do you think is so heavy that will burden a very fierce and mighty friend?
I think it's a lot to do with I've just been stupid. I've just been really stupid, and it's really I'm sorry, the counselor thing means I can tell you stuff that Commander Exio is not going to be like, well, you told me this about an hour ago, so I've got to court-martial you.
Please don't say something that would make you court-martialed, but no, I am not your commander right now. This is a session.
Okay.
Believe me, it has been quite a day of... Your information is safe. You can share with me, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how much stuff comes up when you actually stop moving around a little bit, When you stop, trying to keep busy and...
I just point at the stripe in my hair. I know.
What are you pointing at?
Oh,
you have a stripe! Oh, that's new! That looks good!
Really?
That looks really good!
Well, thank you.
Are you going to keep that?
I'm not sure yet. It's fun to experiment. It's fun to try new things. I've never changed the way I looked ever, so it's nice to try it on.
Yeah, it looks good.
But this isn't about me, though I appreciate the compliment. What? Let me ask you something. How about...
Yeah.
So I hear that you don't think you can write.
I can't. I mean, I look at this and I'm like,
Here, put the data pad down,
okay.
and I'm going to run an experiment with you.
Sure.
So, not everyone is good at expressing themselves in the same way.
Right.
Some people express themselves through music or dance, or they're incredible pilots. So maybe you're having a hard time expressing your feelings through an art form that you're not particularly skilled at the moment. You're good at flying.
Wow.
So that wasn't quite the full thing, but I'm glad a light bulb's going on.
Wow. You are good at this.
Hi.
Oh my. That's why.
Why,
Oh,
what?
wow. Oh, wow.
What?
What are my antenna doing right now?
They're
just
very
standing up.
perky.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. The cat. Anyway, yeah, that's. Wow.
Can you walk me through what's going on? Oh, better
Okay.
yet, how about you fly me through what's going on? Pretend that your mindscape at the moment is a field that you have to fly through. And I'm at the other side. Please guide me.
I have been spending a lot of time on the holodeck.
Yes.
Like a lot of time, Commander.
Okay.
Like a lot. Like a lot of time on the holodeck. Like I barely... My quarters are this clean for a reason.
Okay.
Like a lot of time.
Can I ask what activity you're doing?
I'm flying
Okay.
all the time. I'm always flight simulators, logging as many hours as I can on small shuttlecrafts, peregrine fighters, which, I always wanted to fly one of those. They never let me fly one.
Okay.
But mostly I go back to the thing that I did during the war that wasn't great.
What do you think wasn't so great?
I killed 30 people, and his head drops suddenly.
Okay.
And he puts his head in his hands. Like, the moment he says it, it's clearly the first time he has said it out loud.
Yeah.
And he puts his head in his hands, and you hear the exhale as he collects, and he comes up and just goes, "It wasn't my fault. I know that. I'm not like putting it on myself. It was a combat drop. It was a dual mission. It was Klingons and Federation strike team, and going through the nebula. Everything was going as planned. Nothing goes as planned, and I was playing it safe. That's what you do, especially when a nebula. I'm good at nebulas. Like I'm good at pathfinding. It's like one of the things I do really well as a pilot, I think. But the Dominion does not play fair. They don't play fair. They use lots of stuff, right? And so we got hit, and it was a mine that hit the side of the shuttle, and I landed us where we were trying to get, which was this is classified, by the way, so I don't know how much in trouble I could get into. I'm sure it doesn't matter anymore. This is years ago. It doesn't exist anymore. But Yeah, I tried to set her down easy, and I didn't factor in the movement of the asteroid when I was plotting the landing, and so we impacted really hard, and I was the only one on my shuttle that survived. Which, the flip side to that is when the Klingons crash landed, their pilot didn't survive, so I was able to get them all out once the mission was complete. But we lost a lot of people. It wasn't just me. I was leading point. So when I went down, the shuttlecraft that were behind me were slaved to my console. I could tell you the technical aspects of why we were doing something that dangerous, but it had something to do with countermeasures and trying to be sneaky. And anyway, so the two shuttles behind us collided with the asteroid, and everyone was killed on impact. I killed 30 people. And so I like to fly, when I'm not at the helm. I don't like it when I'm not flying.
Bren?
Yeah?
Just take a second.
Okay.
How many times have you said what you said to me? Out loud, and not over and over in your head. How many times have you had a counseling session since that day?
Oh, it's been, I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot. I think holodeck would probably show that it was a lot. But, I'm talking to you now. It's a good time to reconnect, and talk about this stuff. So anyway,
Yes.
I was okay and I was doing fine, but the truth of the matter is I think my body's starting to fall apart. So, and I don't want them to take the Ross away from me.
Bren, you have been an exemplary pilot aboard this ship. No one is going to be taking your position away from you. And I don't know I don't know how many times you've heard this, but it obviously was not your fault. However, you are not a perfect pilot, and no one in the Federation is expecting you to be.
Yeah.
You did not get to grieve this properly. And I'm very sorry for that.
Yeah.
And what I'm about to say probably won't feel very good.
Okay, I'm ready. This is what I was ready for. Give it to me. What do you got?
I'm recommending that you take a week off.
Yeah, that did it. That sucked.
Yeah. I'm not taking the Ross away from you, and I want you to bury that deep in your mind when your voices start telling you that I did.
Okay.
It is a week, and I'm also going to be banning that program for a minute.
Okay. Good idea. Yeah, too much of that, and I don't want to. I think you obviously know.
It's gonna hurt.
He starts to bend over a little bit and just kind of.
Yeah. This is going to
my
hurt.
mind knows what you're saying makes sense, but my body's doing the whole no, don't do that.
I know, and it is okay if you make me the villain for a few days.
Okay.
But you need to heal, and and I don't know if it helps, but I don't judge you. What you have said to me did not shock me. It is... I have never experienced anything close to what you and many aboard this ship have gone through. And I will not pretend to know what all of you are feeling. It is my job to help you understand it. But I want you to know that I truly never will. So me telling you to just buck up and take a week off, I know, feels incredibly, incredibly naive, because it is. But we have to start somewhere. And right now, your body needs rest.
So what do I do?
Feel it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I do suggest you talk with your friend.
Okay.
Okay.
I am so tired.
I know. If you want, we can do a sleep study.
What is that?
I can, with the assistance of Dr. Mackrell, aid you in sleep. We can do some exercises in case you have nightmares.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I actually recommended a book to Lacat, and you might like it too.
Okay. This may not be. I don't know. I don't know what the protocol is. Is it okay if I hug you?
It's okay.
Thank you. And he moves over to you, Exio, and the Andorian leans up against you. And it's not so much of a hug as he just kind of sinks into you. He actually folds his arms close in onto his chest and leans in. And it's more of you hugging him. And he stands there.
I guide him back onto sort of where he was sitting. Was it the edge of his bed?
It was on the sort of the sofa when you walk in.
Okay. I will guide him back to the sofa, and my intention is to hold him until he falls asleep. The rest of this session we still have quite a long session, is to let him, if he cries, whatever, I will probably sit here until he falls asleep.
It takes maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The moment he slides into your arms and you hold him there for a second, you think he might be getting ready to crack until you begin to feel the relaxation and then the unmistakable sounds of the breath slowing and the shoulders rising and falling. This might be the first time Vren has slept.
Yeah.
Maybe since the war.
Yeah. I don't leave.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold him. When I recognize that he is in a state where movement probably won't wake him up, I'll lay him down on the couch, get pillows, put a blanket over him, and I grab his closest data pad, I download a handful of literature, and I leave it on sort of the coffee table in front of him.
Okay.
And I turn out his light, and I go back to my room. And I don't blip. I walk very slowly back to my room.
Feeling the movement as you pass through the corridors. The occasional crew member who's stepping out from doing their minimal duty here on the Ross, nodding to you, Commander, as they walk by. Everyone on this ship has a story. Every Ox crew member that moves past you, XCO, this week has told you more than anything that if nothing else, deep down, we're all a collection of stories. And as you move into the turbo lift and as it closes, you start heading back to your quarters.
I try. Yeah, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
With all of that running through, I try to smile at every single person I go past as presently as I possibly can, because right now I'm feeling quite haunted by everyone's pasts. And in an okay way. Like you said, like this, what I've been thinking about all day, this ship is full of people who no one will ever fully understand, but they're the heartbeat. And I go back to my quarters and I pull up the data pad. And I'm going to read the report that that Tech was trying to access. Because if he's going to be my patient, I'm going to need to know a little bit more about his story.
As you're pulling it up, XCO, something clicks following that train of thought as you move on to studying for Tech. Something you said to yourself earlier today when you were looking yourself in the mirror. And it's not just you. You realize everyone's a galaxy.
Yeah.
If you can, try to picture the music montage, as it were, as we visit the different versions of different people on the ship, as we see the engineering teams and Dr. Maroney working with Ox crew as they start to install some of the technology. We can see Olin Marjanil by themselves on the promenade, alone on the promenade on the USS Ross, looking at personnel files of Ambassador Pagino and the observational personnel files made by Commander XCO about Sorex. Almost like they're weighing a hefty decision in front of them. We can see mysteriously in the chief medical officer's quarters, Dr. Mackrell, claws folded over one each other as your paws just kind of folded up in front of you, and you're staring at the screen as you're debating on accepting the invitation to your award. Your paw's been hovering over the no. And gently, you summon the will to click yes. Leaning back, you see the RSVP has been accepted. The award ceremony will be held in 1 week, and you'll be notified if you've won the Carrington Award. But Mackrell, you're not sure how good this award would feel if you won it. And it's on your shoulders as you're staring at this. The captain is currently in wasted space, perhaps looking at their future, sitting across from an admiral who is clinking glasses with them and sharing stories of what it was like transitioning from captain to being a flag officer, what it was to leave the center chair, and how everyone tells you, don't ever leave the center chair. But the admiral lets you in on a little secret of the rewards of empowering captains to do a job on behalf of the Federation, and how good it feels to move those pieces around the board and bringing people in the galaxy together. You get the impression, Captain, that the Admiral definitely misses that center chair, but you also get the impression she wouldn't give this up for anything. And we close with Chief Tech waking up on the bed to an Andorian ensign, his ensign Dari, with a smile on her face and a data pad in her hand. As the force field comes down, She says, time to get back to work, Chief. And she hands you the data pad. Here's an update on everything that we've been doing since you decided to get a hotel room and slack off the job, sir.
Tech takes a moment and looks down at the data pad and then looks down at the silk pillow and sort of puts it under his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to work.
And as you and Dari walk out, she glances at you before the doors close and she says, why does your brig smell so good? And it closes. And the last thing we're going to see before we end for the night is during all of this, Jane LeCat has been in her quarters. And in front of her, she is holding a small device, a relic that she discovered. She holds it up to the starlight just outside the window. This coin-sized relic that she's been trying to crack, to try to understand. In the center is this deep blood-red gem, but it's not actually a stone. It is an incredible amount of lattice work of silica pathways that have formed into what looks like a congealed precious rock at the center of this metal coin. And she holds it up and stares at it curiously. This thing that captured the sensors of the USS Ross. And that is where we are going to wrap up tonight's episode of Clear Skies.
Thank you, Will.
What does that mean?
Yes, indeed. Because that was something else that you missed in the last episode.
So much.
LeCat basically, because she had control of the ship in that bridge scene, Gina.
Yeah.
LeCat decided, you know what? No one's gonna know. So she ran a sensor sweep, and I had her roll on a difficulty 5, and she nailed it, and detected an anomalous energy reading that didn't match any energy pattern she'd ever seen before. She tracked it to the promenade on Narendra Station and encountered a Ferengi salesman who sold her 2 very large pairs of testicles and this coin.
It was 1 pair, right? How many balls are on my ship?
It was 1 pair. I'm sorry. It was
and
1 pair.
And a really cute new pet too.
Yes.
A new
That's
pet?
right.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yes.
has 2 now.
She has a new pet.
What?
And if you want to know what it looks like, because I totally ripped this off, it looks like the little animal in Flight of the Navigator.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, that one. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes.
Nope, it's that guy.
You put LeCat in the center chair for 1 episode and look at all of this magnificence.
So, that's actually going to be our final episode of Clear Skies for the month of October.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So you guys didn't get a Halloween episode. You're welcome. I didn't send xenomorphs or anything after y'all. Next week is going to be Blood of the Void. We're going to find out
after them.
We're gonna find out what has happened because Sorex has been let loose now to go do the thing. That's gonna have implications on what happens next in Blood of the Void. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining us for what has been a very emotional night here on Clear Skies. I want to thank my stream punks for giving us for having the courage to be emotionally vulnerable in your role-playing sessions in front of an audience. It is one of the most terrifying and most wonderful, rewarding things as a storyteller, and I cannot thank you enough. It's why I refuse to surrender you guys. I don't give a damn. Every show I was ever offered at GNS and everything I do afterwards, I refuse to surrender you guys. Thank you so much for tonight's game. It was fantastic.
And thank you for always hitting us in the field every time.
You're very welcome. And thank you, Ox Crew, as always, for coming along with us on the journey. We will see you next Monday night. Until then, hailing frequencies are closed.